What's going on? Are we live yet? Are we on? Let me see. Turn my spaces on. I think we are. We are live. Chill out till I get some people in the spaces. But what's going on? It's ProFan Live. Usually I go Tuesday nights, but I figure today I will go Monday night since I will be traveling tomorrow. Got to fly out of town, see about moms for a minute. So, well, I see some couple people jumped in the spaces already, but I'm trying to figure out what time did this damn Pittsburgh game start? Because I thought this would be over by now, but it's not, and they still going. They still going. Hold on tight. I'm gonna cool it off in here because I got lights on. I'm still good. I'm gonna cool it off. I see you in there in the spaces. I see you guys in there in the spaces. I'm gonna be in there in just a minute. Yep. I see you guys in there. Let me see if I can get that. Let me see. I got two people in my spaces. We going live, and I'm rubbernecking the Steelers game, and the Browns were doing okay, and the Steelers defense have just come alive, and um, they playing ball, man. They playing ball. It's 22-26. Steelers took the lead. A strip sack from Deshaun Watson, and Watts, not J.J. Watt, the other one, the younger brother picked it up and took it in the score. So now it's 22-26 Steelers, and the Steelers just got the ball back again. So 4 minutes left. Kenny Pickett's trying to run the clock out. We'll see what they can do. But so what's going on, man? It has been a crazy week. It was a crazy week for me personally because my grandson got married. So I was busy. I was trying to get in so I could get it in where I could fit it in for making content, but it was crazy for a minute. It was absolutely crazy. But we had a great wedding. We had an outstanding reception. My wife was the coordinator in the reception. That is what she does and loves to do. But don't get it twisted. I am so glad that that is done, and the stress of it is over with. So we just gonna keep it moving. They're going to Vegas for their honeymoon, and my only instructions to him was get me a good picture of that orb, because that's what I want. A picture of that orb. So, but anyways, what time is it? Looks like the Browns just made a stop, so they might get the ball back. I thought Kenny Pickett was gonna be. I thought Kenny Pickett was gonna be pretty good. I'm laughing because they're showing the Steelers fans, and they a little upset. They look like the Dallas fans from last year. But what's up, folks? We going live tonight. Let's see who's on the mic. Um, Forgive me if I'm slow with this because I'm still learning this. Um, Let me see. Let me see my people. We got one request. The power within. I see you.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
What's going on, man?
Nothing much, you know. Just
Hold on for a sec. I got you on the mic now. Go ahead and
hello, hello.
yeah, they hear you. I got you on the YouTube. But this is what I call cross training. I got the I got the I got the live stream going on YouTube, but I got the microphone right in front of the phone so I can do both at the same time.
You need a young lad in there to get you. I'll set that up for you one day. Man, they trained me and all that stuff. I just got my degree like on Thursday.
Yeah. Did you get in touch with Kyle?
Broadcast stuff. You know, I'm real hyped up on it. It's I got my resume and stuff put together, classes and everything else coming up soon. So
That's what's up, man. That's what's up.
yeah.
So what's going on? What you want to talk football tonight? What's good with you?
I mean, we gotta talk about something that just happened. The Nick Chubb. He's out.
I
We're
didn't see what
hoping.
happened to him. I saw
Okay.
he got hurt, but I didn't. I wasn't
He's
watching.
running the ball. He's got the ball running in, hit on the leg, and it's a bad leg hit. Like you can see the ankle, and it's twist.
Gotcha.
It's bad. It's one of those. It's too gruesome to replay hits.
Oh yeah, I saw a picture. He was on a cart, but I didn't see some man.
I didn't. I had to check, and it's.
Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't play it.
Man, listen, my running backs are taking a beating because Saquon got hurt over the weekend,
Ooh.
and I guess the situation with Saquon is so bad because everything with the holdout and everything he was going through, kind of Nick Chubb's and the kid in that was in Vegas too.
Yeah.
It's just not a good look for my running backs. Every time one of my running backs gets hurt, I hate it because that's just gonna continue to devalue our position. We already going extinct.
Yeah.
You know, running backs. There's no such thing as a fullback anymore. Fullback is nothing but a tight end in motion now. Um, and all of the running backs have turned into hybrids. You gotta be a hybrid. So, you know I
will say though, shout out to DeAndre Swift for bringing the run game on that Thursday night. That was some great stuff.
Listen, here's my thing with DeAndre. I was a Kenny Gainwell fan going into the season because I think he earned it. He earned the right to be RB number one. That's just my opinion. I don't think they used him right last year. We had every opportunity to throw the ball to the running backs last year, and we just didn't do it. So that's not on him. That's on the scheme.
Yeah.
But having said that, after seeing what Swift did, there is no misunderstanding whatsoever. He is the number one back, and he has become the 1A option for offense for the Eagles. I said it in another video. I don't give a damn how angry A.J. Brown gets. If this is the way that produces wins, this is what you roll with. If you got,
listen, A.J. Brown's going to get his. We all know he's going to get his.
Devontae's going to get his. Goddard's going to get his. Everybody's going to eat. But if this is the way we got to do it, so be it.
Yeah, so, this offense is potent enough that everyone's going to get a piece of the pie.
Yeah.
But some days someone's going to get a bigger slice.
Absolutely, and it's gonna fluctuate during the year. It's gonna fluctuate.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I assume that with Tampa we might switch it up instead of doing a bit of a running game. We might do some deep ball.
We'll see because they had a couple of opportunities. The whole conversation would be different if A.J. Brown, the touchdown that got called back because Rashad Penny was holding. If he catches that touchdown, that game ends up a little bit different. Yeah. And also, I believe it was week 1. If he catches that ball that he bobbled out of bounds, it's also different. So we've had some opportunities. Yes, Jalen Hurts has missed some. He's missed Dallas Goedert for 2 touchdowns. You can't ignore that. But the offenses are going to get better. I don't expect them to go in and light it up. The offense is always going to get better. Defense always has the advantage in the beginning of the year. So I'm not worried about. But hold tight, dude. I got some other listeners there. Let me switch up real quick. So hold tight.
Good.
But thank you for calling, though. I appreciate that.
Hey, it's no problem. I got to head out anyways. I got a job interview at 11 tomorrow, so let me get some sleep.
All right, man. Thanks for jumping on, dude.
And let's go Birds.
You got it. What did I just do? Unmute. How we get you on the mic? Country, you on the mic? Oh, there we go. Requests. Boom. Oh, so you got to request it. What's going on, Country?
What's going on?
How you doing, man? Thanks for jumping on.
Oh man. Blessed for success, man.
I hear that.
Yeah, just excited about this. Excited about next weekend, man. See what these fans how crazy everybody get after 2 games. They already want to get fired a coach and
Uh, that was expected, but it's that's the Philly faithful doing what they do. It'll even out
yeah.
after a couple more games. I still I hold back judgment until after week 3, and then
Yeah, we were talking about that last week
yeah,
about the first couple of games, man. You got to get everything situated, see how the players gonna play, and you know what I mean. See
absolutely
who wants to be the star. You know what I mean.
right. I mean, we see right now DeAndre Swift is that dude, so we got to continue to roll with that. They would be silly not to, but I remember last year we ran the ball so well, and they really didn't get into it until after week 4 for whatever reason. They didn't want to run the ball. Um, so hopefully they don't make that same mistake this year, because you can't ignore what DeAndre Swift did. You simply cannot do that. He's established himself as running back number one without question. I feel bad for Kenny Gainwell because I'm a Kenny Gainwell fan, but
I
that's
I
the
got
way
him
it
on
bounces.
I got him on the bench on my fantasy team still, just to never know what's gonna happen.
Well, I don't think he'll play this week. I think he's got
No. Oh, okay.
I think he had tender ribs, so I think they might be holding him out this week.
Okay.
So, but I think DeAndre Swift has just stepped in, and sometimes it goes like that. That's the business of the NFL. Somebody stepped up, and he put it down. So it wasn't like he did a pretty good job. No, he put it down. He had a career high, 6.2 yards a carry, something like that. So you cannot ignore that. You cannot ignore that. And it is on Brian Johnson to figure out a way to use that piece, because we all thought that Swift was going to be good like that, but now he actually proved it. So there's no doubt now. So now it's up to Brian Johnson. It's like, okay, now you got another queen piece on the board. How are you going to use it? And the one thing that I'm still a little frustrated with from our offense is it just seems like to me that they still haven't figured out how to call hot routes.
Is that? Do you think that's on Jalen, or what do you think?
No, that's Brian Johnson, because that's a scheme issue.
Oh, okay.
Because what they're doing, and I expect every team to do is like this in some way, shape, or form. Because Belichick did it, Flores did it. Uh, they're gonna have a 4 or 5 man front, and then they're gonna bring up 2 or 3 linebackers. So it looks like the offensive line is outnumbered, and then they're gonna play with who's gonna rush. So it's up to the line, it's up to the offensive line and Kelsey to make the right calls. Now I saw a couple times, I'm like, you got to audible out of that, because even if they drop 2 linebackers, we're still outnumbered on the offensive line. So somebody's coming free, and that's where we getting in trouble. And then what they're doing is they're dropping the linebackers back. They're dropping the linebackers just far enough to be on the first down line, and it all depends on down the distance. But if it's third and long, they're dropping them back, and they're right at the line, so it looks like everybody's covered. They're dropping back into that zone, and anybody that goes across the middle, you got 2 bodies sitting there. So if you saw the game, the Viking game where he threw that interception across the middle, that linebacker was on the line of scrimmage. He dropped all the way back, and Jalen just didn't see him until he threw the ball. That was just a great call on the defense and a great play by that linebacker. So I would expect teams to continue to do that until the Eagles show that they can beat it. And the best way to beat that, when you got everybody, sometimes they had 7 or 8 men in the box. And when you see that, immediately you got to audible out of it, or you better have a hot route. And it seems like we don't have hot routes.
To me, there was no way that the Eagles would have lost that game with 4 turnovers by the Vikings.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I mean, it should have been I think the Vikings shouldn't have scored as many points as they did. But I mean, I understand they have a decent offense. They have an offense that, they got Kirk Cousins, they got Justin Jefferson. I don't know how you feel about Madison, the running back, but
He's all right. He's all right. Mayo, I'm gonna get to you in just a minute. I see you popping on there. I appreciate you.
whenever I'm not in no rush.
All right,
But
hold tight. Let me see.
no. Somebody was asking me a question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I was asking how you feel about, like, I was going to ask you about some running backs like in the league right now. Is there any like running backs that you feel like are showcasing themselves right now that you did not see, like you didn't have on, no idea they were going to be out there doing something like that so far this year?
Not yet. Not yet. I haven't seen. I've seen a couple good performances. Like I said, Swift. Um, I'm trying to see next gen. I tell you what, the rookie Bijan Robinson looks pretty good. He looks like he's the real deal. Um, Trying to see James Cook. Yeah, it's a couple of them. James Conner looks good. He had 4.6 a carry down in Arizona.
Kyron Williams had a pretty decent game for the Rams.
Yep. Derrick Henry's doing what he's been doing.
And now that New York done lost Barkley.
Yeah.
I think Brady, what's his name, Matt Breida. I think he's going to be starting basically for them. I don't know. Kareem Hunt is still out there, so he's still a free agent. So he could be possibly picked up by one of these teams, or they're lacking on the running back side, number wise.
Somebody gonna pick him up. I think Dalvin Cook looked pretty good, but it's a shame in New York. He looking pretty good, but he ain't got no help at quarterback now.
Yeah, it was Zach Wilson, but I thought stat wise, I know first half he did pretty. He did not do that well first half. Like, he didn't. He had 4 attempts, 7 yards, 1.8, 1 reception. Like his first game against Buffalo, he had 2.5, 3 receptions, 33 yards, 13 attempps. Like, you can't win games with 2.5 yards rushing. But I know Breece Hall was playing more. I think Breece Hall left the game early with Dallas, or I'm not sure if he played that game. I think something happened, but like, cause I had him on my fantasy team and I dropped him. I was like, I'm not really trusting them against that Dallas defense.
Man, and guess what? I hate to admit it, but that damn Dallas defense is nasty. Them boys are nasty. I'm like, you gotta keep it. That's why I got the little logo up there. You gotta keep it 100, man. Micah Parsons and what they doing down there, dude. They've had 10 turnovers in 2 games. They've had 6 picks, 6 interceptions, and 4 forced fumbles. That is ridiculous. That's ridiculous, man. So Dallas is going to be dangerous, man. And again, I'm trying to reserve judgment. I better see something good from our offense. Our defense, the Eagles' defense is fine. Our problem is we getting hit with the injury bug early, very early. And we losing players in key positions. So ain't nothing you can really do about that. Hold on, let me get Mayor in here. Hold on.
Okay.
Mayor, you got a request?
Yeah. There you go. I know you were telling me earlier in the season about y'all's linebackers. You know what I mean? I know that was something that you were, your thought process on that was kind of like, man, we got to get these numbers up. We got to get these guys in here. And I know you were telling me about the linebacker situation. Who specifically are you talking about now with the injury wise?
Well, no, we lost. Bradbury was hurt.
Oh yeah, y'all lost. The 2 corners went out in the game midway. Yeah. I know. Yeah, I do remember that.
Bradbury's on concussion protocol. Reed Blankenship, I think he's got a rib injury. Avante Maddox is out. He tore his pec. So, and a little bit of I don't know. Do you want to call it karma? But C.J. Garner-Johnson tore his pec too.
Karma.
I mean, I don't wish
nothing but pure karma for that young man. I don't wish injury upon nobody, man, but karma.
Yeah, I'm with you too. I don't wish injury on no other player, man. But I was like, And it's funny they both have the same injury now, at the same in the same week. So, and that's probably going to be Avonte Maddox is out for the year. I'm not sure about C.J. Gardner-Johnson. So, I thought that was very interesting. But we getting bit by that bug, man, early. So, um, it all depends on what we do in the next 2 weeks, how we look, how our offense looks. Um, Jalen Hurts does not look like he is in sync with what they're supposed to be doing. He's missing reads, and I think a lot of that is coming um, based on what everybody, basically what the first 2 weeks gave him with Belichick and Flores. So I'm hoping in week 3 and 4 they can figure out a way to beat that muddle rush and have some hot routes so they can slice them up. And hopefully, I got my fingers crossed. Hopefully, we can have some true play action. I really, really wish that we can have some run plays where Jalen is under center. We really need to get him under center just a few times just to change things up, because I know that's kind of like an old school way of thinking, but I look back on, if you ever get a chance, go look at Terrell Davis when he was with the Broncos, and look how they ran the ball and how they stretched the defense to the right and to the left and made them linebackers fluff. Emmitt Smith did the same thing. Adrian Peterson with the Vikings, they did the same thing when he was running. You got to stick that ball out there and force the linebackers to flow with the motion, and it opens up so many things, and it moves the linebackers out of their spot. So it opens up the middle for the routes coming across. Right now, with that, when we in pistol and we in gun, if they in gun formation, you either gun left or gun right, depending on which side the running back lines up. And then Jalen just sticks it out there, and he kind of rides the running back. But the linebackers are usually just stepping back and watching, because we done seen it enough. We need to get them flowing a little bit more so we can open up that middle. And I think with what DeAndre Swift did, we should be able to do that. And teams can still, if the Cowboys can do it with Zeke like they did it last year, they killed us with the play action last year. They killed us with it. And it opens up the tight end. So I really would hope, or I really would like to see the Eagles open it up like that with play action and just get DeAndre involved, and just as a decoy. He'll always be a check down, but just put Jalen Hurts under center for a couple plays and have him reverse out to the right or to the left and stick that ball out and have the running back take it from 6 to 7 yards deep and, pick a hole. But make them linebackers get out of their spot, and they got to come up and fill. Then every time you stick that ball out there, that's going to bring them linebackers up. That's going to create that space. And now you can really do some things. Now to open it up for Goddard, for AJ, and Devontae. So we'll see what Brian Johnson going to put together this week. Because I tell you what, if the offense doesn't have a good showing this week in Tampa Bay, you really going to hear the Philly fans really giving Brian Johnson and Jalen Hurts the business. It's going to get to that point very quickly. Because here's the fear. Here's the fear from Philadelphia fans. If we don't have a good performance from our offense, everybody's going to already know that the road to the NFC Championship is going to go through Dallas, not through Philly. So, hold on for a second. Somebody hit me up in the chat. Sherry's playlist. Hey Marcus, can you send a suggestion for them to watch film of those games, please and thank you? They might be too young to think of it. Shoot, man. I wish. You can go. You can probably find that on YouTube. Terrell. I keep saying Terrell. Terrell Davis's best runs. That 6 years, because there was a controversy with him when he went into the Hall of Fame, because a lot of people thought he didn't play long enough, but he was so effective Look at those the Super Bowl teams with the Broncos. You'll be able to find it. Look at the Cowboys when Emmitt Smith was running, and watch how they run that offense, and watch. Troy Aikman was one of the best to do it, and he lined up under center. He ain't run gun formation all the time, and he had Michael Irvin. So they had similar weapons. Good running back, good wide receivers, good tight end. Very similar in the situation of what kind of weapons they had. But look how they ran that offense. And you ain't got to go back that far. Look at the game. Look at our Cowboys game last year at home, and watch how they use Zeke doing play action, and they would do play action, and that tight end would sneak right underneath the middle, and he was always open. He hit us. He caught about 4 passes on us just from that play action pass, and we could not figure out how to stop it. And then Zeke had a good game running the ball, I believe. So we gotta figure out a way to do that, because teams are gonna keep doing it until we figure out a way to stop it. So thanks for that question, though. I appreciate it.
I was gonna.
Appreciate it. What's up?
I had another one for you. I'm looking at y'all's next 5 matchups right now. I feel like the main one. I think the Commanders' defense might be a little tough,
Yep.
and the Dolphins game. I think y'all are gonna have to score points. Do you think the Eagles can handle that? You think they can outscore the Dolphins?
Um, that's a good question. It depends on who's healthy.
Yeah, you're right about them.
It depends on who's healthy. If we got if we got Evans and Josh Jobe out there, even if they activate, I mean he's been activated, but even if they plug in Eli Ricks, they're all good. But are they good enough to handle Tyreek Hill and Waddle? That's the question. So I don't know.
I think that would be a really, really tough matchup.
It's gonna be tough.
That one is going to be they have to kind of score kind of game. Like I'm not like the Commander game, the Rams game. I don't know. Stafford still got some game in them. They got some wide receivers that are showing out. One of them broke a record for first 2 games ever. I mean, they just had a tough game against the Niners. So it's hard to say if they're going to be able to match up against the Eagles though.
Well, here's how I'm looking at it. The Commanders are gonna be a tough. That's gonna be a tough game, because I already see the enemy has got them boys together, and me personally, I've been waiting to see Chase Young play, because just I wanted to see him overcome this injury and fulfill his promise. That kid was supposed to be a beast coming out, and he just couldn't get on the field, couldn't stay on the field. He was always he hurt that knee, and luckily he didn't try to rush it like a RG3, and it looks like he's ready to go this year. So I want to see him play, but that's going to be a tough out with the Commanders. I'm not really worried about the Rams because Jalen Carter is going to eat Stafford up. So
Yeah, he's going to be pressured. I mean, hey, they played a tough game against the Niners, man. I mean, it was close until it got to the fourth quarter.
right,
You know what I mean? I mean, they almost, a lot of the Rams fans were hyped. They were feeling like they were gonna take that one.
yeah.
Oh, Mayor got his hand up.
I don't. I'm trying to hold on.
So he's already up. He just want to talk. That's all.
Let me see.
That's why they put
How do
their hand
I
up.
how do I get him to talk? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Oh
No,
no,
I just gotta come
being
off.
patient.
Oh, okay. You was on mute. My bad. Go ahead. Say what you got to say.
I don't know. I don't know what that guy is talking about. Respectfully, listen, man. It's preseason until the Monday night game, right? So like, we came in the first 2 games trying things out. We got a new OC. We got a new DC, right? They've never had this much talent at their exposure. You know what I'm saying? Like they've never been this loaded. And then one of them or both of them is their first year, right?
Yeah, both of them.
You know what I'm saying? So boom, you got that.
Well, no. I
Right?
think Desai. I think Desai was DC and Chicago.
And then if you look at who we played, and then you look at their second week, you know, we get everyone's A game. You know what I'm saying? We're the Eagles, right? We're the NFC representatives. You know what I'm saying? We smoked everybody last year, so like we're definitely getting everyone's A game because, you know, if it wasn't for the second half, Daniel Jones is 0-2. You know what I mean? Like
Absolutely, but
I
you
think
also got to deal with what you get. So
that's
as
true. That's very true. You know what I'm saying? I
I
hate that
laugh
it
and
was
I
against
say
a taking team though.
Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones has the best agents in the business to get him $40 million a year. But you know the Giants are stuck with him, so he gonna give them what they give him. But he's in trouble now because he ain't got a running back. And
Nah, yeah, man, that
Saquon
is he
Barkley
down.
Yeah,
would
Matt.
bail him out. Saquon, they would feed him and feed him. Saquon would be getting 2 and 3 yards every game, and then all of a
That is
sudden he
true.
would bust like a 30, 40 yarder
Mm-hmm.
and break it open. So he was the safety valve, and he don't have that no more. So I don't know who the backup running back is in New York, but they got issues.
Matt, it's Matt Bradia, how you
Yeah,
pronounce his name. And I
I'm not
think
sure.
he's like 30. I think he's like 30, 31 or something
Yeah,
like
he a
that,
vet.
man. So
He a vet.
yeah, so
So, and plus he did. Saquon was captain of the team, so they losing a lot right there. And but that goes back to what I said earlier. Um, and I know I've said this before. It really doesn't matter what kind of team you have. It matters what kind of team you can put on the field. Because ask the Jets. They got the best quarterback in the business, and he's on the sideline after 4 plays. My Cincinnati Bengals, my hometown. Joe Burrow is out already. His calf is acting up again, and his offensive line
Yeah,
can't
that's
block
bad.
nobody. So he's out again. So it's all about not. We got a great team on paper, but we missing some key pieces right now. And these boys, these backups, they got to step up. Christian Ellis has played well. Zach Cunningham has played well, and
Joby's played okay.
Job has played well. Nick Moreau's played well, but we
Ringo got that forced fumble.
yeah. Our
They
defensive
playing
line
okay.
is going to be fine. It's just the problem is
Nah, that's
everybody's
bad.
throwing on us. If you watch those, if did you see Kendrick Bourne and what he did to
Yes.
man? Listen,
Mm-hmm.
that's experience.
Mm-hmm.
That's experience
It's
right there.
open
That was
though. You know
he
what I
was
mean?
running some routes that were fire. Perfect routes,
But that brings
perfect
me to my
technique.
question. I had a question for you. I
Sure.
developed this question all day.
What's up?
Right? Can can how we gonna talk to the Steelers and get some of those linebackers over there, man?
I'm sure
We
he
can get at
can.
least one of them, right?
I'm sure he could. But the question is not necessarily can he talk to him. The question is what are you willing to give up to get him?
I mean, we got a couple options, man.
We do.
We gotta be able to like you said, like the middle of that field is like that was my concern at the beginning of the year, right? That was also my concern last year is when teams get past that first level, you know what I'm saying? It get kind of dark for us,
It,
respectfully. You
yes,
know
it
what I
does.
mean? Like
Yes, it
we
does.
gotta
But I don't
we
think
gotta
that's
find a way to
necessarily
get that together.
I don't think that's necessarily the linebackers. I think that's got more to do with the scheme. Because I know last year, and you can see it now, because I heard some comments on the broadcast where they were talking about Gannon having that middle wide open. So that's a scheme thing, not necessarily your players. If the coach tells you to drop back in zone and they throw a pass underneath it, that's not the player's fault. They run in, they doing what they were supposed to do. So that's a scheme thing. So I'm I'm gonna give the side a benefit of the doubt because we're 2-0, in my opinion, because our defense has played so well, in spite of everything that's happened. So we got to tighten it up in the second half and not let these leads up. But then we give up the leads and make these games that we should be blowing out by 2 and 3 touchdowns. We make them close, not necessarily because of the defense, but that swings back to the offense because the offense can't stay on the field long enough to do anything. So it goes both ways, but I'm happy right now with what our defense is doing because they're still doing it with all of these injuries. So we finding a way to make it happen. Our offense needs to wake up. That's my concern right now. I still don't think our special teams is anything great, and I don't want to be in a situation where we get caught sleeping because of special teams. And that's one of them things where it doesn't happen until it happens. Then everybody's pissed. So, um, the I think our defense is fine, but our offense needs to wake up. Because I I kind of thought I'm looking at Sherry's question. Um, yeah, you gotta adjust to what's going on. I expected. I don't know why I expected this, but I thought that Brian Johnson would he would keep the offense still as it was, but clearly he's changed some things. And I'm hoping that if need be, you can go back to Old Faithful and let's keep doing what we've been doing.
You think we got too many options now?
Not really. You never have too many options. It all comes down to what you do with it.
That's true.
So options
It
aren't
just
the
seems like
problem.
he's reading too many reads when he say hype. You know what I mean? It's like he's looking at too much for, I don't know, it might just be me over analyzing, but it just seems like he's busy.
You see, it's don't think of it like you reading too many things. You just got to know what to read, and you got to be prepared for whatever somebody throws you. That's why I said earlier, you always got to wait to at least 3 4 weeks into the season, because the first 2 weeks we had Belichick and we had Flores, and they throwing looks that they probably won't use anymore. They only use them on us. So you got to look at it like this: if you're going through uh, the week preparing for a game, you watching film based on what they did to you last year, what they did to this team, because that team runs a similar offense than what you run. They do that all the time. And what I think happened is when teams get confused is when a defense throws something at you that you haven't seen before or you didn't prepare for. You there's not too many things that are new in the league, but if you didn't prepare for it, they gonna burn you. They're definitely gonna burn you. So now, um, Flores didn't have as much success as Belichick did, but he still had success running that defense where the linebackers kept dropping back. Now I would expect Tampa Bay is gonna do the same thing, or some form of it at some point in time. They're going to give them the same look until we show we can beat it and beat it consistently. Once we show we can beat it consistently, they're going to go back to what they normally do. And then we'll figure out if they're good enough to even play with us, because our offensive line is still better than anybody else we're going to come up against. So, I'm looking for DeAndre Swift to have 100 yards every game now. And there's no reason why he shouldn't, because our offensive line is that good. Still.
Yeah, I agree. And once those two things get on the same page, it's gonna get real scary for folks.
Yeah.
That O-line and Swift, it's gonna get real dark for folks. Now,
yep. All we need now is to keep. We got to keep grunting these wins, and the longer that secondary can play together, the better they're going to be. Because I know they're young. With Job had a really good camp. And Eli Ricks had a really good camp. So I'm not worried about them getting in the game, but I just want them to get that experience. Because I don't want the Josiah Scott experience again.
Man.
Josiah Scott got better towards the end of the year, but when they put him in, he was a liability. And they went after him. Rightfully so. And that's what any good offensive coordinator do. If you see a rookie in there or somebody that hasn't been playing or a free agent that just signed with the team, you already know that they don't know too much. When I was with the Eagles in '93, we signed Bubby Brister from the Steelers. Bubby Brister hadn't been with the team that long, and Randall got hurt like mid-season, tore his knee against the Jets. So Bubby had to go in. Bubby didn't even know the playbook yet. Bubby was drawing shit in the dirt. So that kind of stuff makes a difference. I'm saying all that to say, when you back there in that secondary, you got to be prepared and know what's coming on. Did you see against the Vikings when they let that touchdown in because we had trouble shifting the defensive backs over in coverage?
So much trouble, man.
Right. That's called a banjo coverage. Everybody does that.
Mm-hmm.
How come we couldn't do it? Because the guys that was in there were hesitating because they weren't sure what they were supposed to do. So it's not like they've never done a banjo coverage or a pass off. They've done it a million times. But if you're back there, if you're in the game and you're thinking, you're already a step behind. You gotta know it's gotta be muscle memory and all of that cliche stuff that everybody talks all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like you gotta know what it what it is. Somebody asked me one time, like, what is it like when you get in the zone? And I said, as a running back, when you get in the zone, when they snap the ball, everything goes in slow motion and you see everything before it happens. That's the best way I can describe it. If you old enough to remember like the $6 million man when he used to run, everything was slow motion. That's what it feels like when you're in the zone. You can see, you can make cuts because you see the hole going back the other way, and that's not even where the play is going. But you in such a zone, your brain is working, and you see everything before it happens. That's how Jalen Hurts was last year for a minute. So, Sherry, I do think Sidney Brown is ready to start. However, um, I think he's going to be a rookie. So he's got to take his lumps. And by proxy, we have to take our lumps. Because he's going to blow some coverages. Why you think Keely Ringo ain't playing? That kid is 4.4 speed and 6'2". But he don't know what he's doing yet. Sidney Brown is the same way. He's going to get in there. Sidney Brown reminds me a lot of Marcus Epps. He's fast, he plays physical, but a lot of times he goes in there with his head down and he's going to miss some tackles because of that. But when he gets to the point where he knows what he's doing, what's the kid from, what's the Polynesian kid from the Chiefs? Who is it, Hufanga?
No, that's the Niners.
Is that the Niners? Yeah. He's the same way. He was a missile last year. And then towards the end of the year, he got better. Because now he knows you can always be a missile. You can always get to the ball. But you still got to make sure you're in the right place. Because you're not going to be in a situation where you got to make all the tackles. At some point, you got to cover. And that's where the knowledge comes in. If we putting somebody in motion and reading the zones. So, and I'm saying that to say that's how I see Sidney Brown. Yes, he's ready to play, but even with him being ready to play, he's going to make rookie mistakes. And even saying that, that's why I don't think people understand how good of a job Reed Blankenship did last year. Reed Blankenship, there was no earthly reason why he was that good last year. None. But he stepped in. He knew what he had to do. Reed Blankenship is not a super fast guy. He's a physical player. He's got good speed. Not great speed, not elite speed. He's got good speed. But he's a cerebral player. He knows where he's supposed to be to make the play. That's why Reed Blankenship was so good. He understood the playbook. Yeah, I think once Keely Ringo gets up to par, and again knows what he's supposed to be doing, Keely Ringo is going to be nasty because he's got that height and he's got that speed. So I'm looking forward to that. But we just gotta We got to get over these injuries. Um, Bradbury's not coming back. He's not. I don't know if he'll be out for 2 weeks because I'm not. I get weird. Not weird, but I'm. I'm not sure what the concussion protocol is now because it like changed. So
Y'all got Godwin and Mike Evans. Y'all gonna have to
yeah, but
shut them down,
you know,
especially Mike Evans, because he likes to score. So
yeah, yeah, and he's a big body too.
you know,
So he can go up and get it. So, but guess what? We they got to play on the field with us too. Baker
I don't
Mayfield
know
got to
what
worry
the
about Jalen Carter and Hassan Reddick, and um, you know they got issues. So I think we should be able to handle that business. But you got to do it on the field.
just wondering what their stat line was last week.
Who?
Wow,
Buccaneers?
they had 437 total yards, 317 passing. So that's what I was kind of saying. Like with Mike Evans, let me see what Mike Evans and them had.
Who did they play
Mike
last
Evans,
week?
they had the Bears, so that wasn't
Oh,
really like
yeah. And
yeah, that's not really.
Bears don't have much of a pass rush either.
Yup.
So, this is going to be a different vibe when you got Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter in your face. So, let's see what he can do under pressure.
Yeah, and they played the Vikings week 1, so they didn't really.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
they really didn't.
They ain't had nobody test them yet.
Oh yeah, they definitely Baker Mayfield definitely gonna be running around.
Absolutely. But you know what? But we gonna have to be solid with that too, because Baker Mayfield can make some things happen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If he throws it up to Mike Evans, man,
Yep.
that's the main thing. I don't really know about their running backs. Like, I don't know too much about them. Like, see what they got. Oh
Well,
yeah, they got Herbert.
yeah,
Khalil, I
but
think it's Khalil Herbert. He didn't really do too much. I
yeah.
mean, really. I mean, my bad. I'm looking at the Bears. I'm talking about
See,
Khalil Herbert. I'm
I'm looking
tripping.
for. I'm looking for. When you look at it, players, I'm looking at it from the standpoint of at any skill position. Is this somebody that we need to game plan? I mean, you always game plan, right? But teams come in and they gonna game plan Jalen Hurts. They're gonna game plan AJ Brown. We got to figure out a way to stop Dallas Goedert. We got to figure out a way to stop CeeDee Lamb. You got some players that your whole week's film study is based on slowing down that particular player. You got a game plan Tyreek Hill because you know he gonna go deep on you. So you got to get him there. Sherry's asking, what do I think about Nolan Smith? Yeah, I have noticed that I haven't really heard Hassan's name much, and I think that thumb is still bothering him. Nolan Smith, I got to check his stats. Did he really do anything last week? I know he's getting some pub, but I've been hearing everything's been about Jalen Carter. Let me see. Oh, where'd he go? Let me see what he did last week. Did he even register any tackles? Eagles. Let's see. Receiving. Don't want that. Fumbles. Cox Edmonds. Oh, that's fumbles. Interceptions. Defense. Zach Cunningham led the team in tackles. Terrell Edmonds. Terrell Edmonds is playing well. He's the guy we got from Pittsburgh that we kind of laughed at because he didn't have a very good camp. Josh Jobe has 6 tackles. Slay has 6. Justin Evans. Justin Evans has 3 tackles. Moreau had 2. I mean, we'll be all right. Keely Ringo had 1 tackle, and Nolan Smith didn't register a tackle. Damn, Devontae Smith had a tackle, but Nolan Smith did. So yeah, he hasn't been. I don't know what that situation is because he was wrecking shop in camp, and he's been kind of unseen in the regular season. So we'll see how that progresses. I don't know if he's still hurt or what the situation is. Yeah, Edmonds is playing well. Um, they were both from Pittsburgh, and I know when we signed Edmonds, every time I think of Edmonds, I think of that play when we played Pittsburgh last year, and AJ Brown caught that ball in between them, and it just wasn't a good look. But he's been playing well for us, and Moreau's been playing well for us. And again, the longer they're here, and the longer they get um, used to our system and Sean Desai, the better they're going to play. The better they're going to play. There's a reason that Edmonds started in Pittsburgh for Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin is a defensive back coach. So if you start for Mike Tomlin, that's saying something. So it'll we got time. I just don't want to. I don't want to lose no game on no nonsense. You know what I mean? That would drive me nuts. Because this is a time, as you've seen, where these teams are dropping games that they should have won. These early games are going to count, especially if you playing anybody in your division. So uh, we got we got a little work to do, like I said, on offense. But I think when our defense gets healthy, we'll be just fine. And right now, we are depending on our defensive line to get to the quarterback and make some hurries, but that's not going to happen every play. So the Cowboys are definitely looking good. Their offense is good. They've been efficient, but their defense is doing all the damage. Washington is looking good. I'm still not scared of Sam Howell, but when you win it, you win it. And then, of course, the Giants, they're 1-1. So there's a good chance we might be the NFC Beast again because all the teams are looking good, or at least 3 out of the 4. I don't know what to call that with the Giants yet. Did they get lucky or, however you want to call that, but they won it. It don't say ugly win, it just says win. So, and also one of the things, I don't know if y'all guys, if you kept up with the Travis Hunter situation in Colorado. I ain't never tracked college football this much since I played. But the whole situation with Deion Sanders and Colorado football has got me captivated. I used to love Colorado back when Eric Bieniemy was at Colorado and Jeremy Bloom, and I think I got soured on college football when they kicked Jeremy Bloom out of college. They made him give up his scholarship because Jeremy Bloom was a special teamer for Colorado. He was good. He was this white boy. He was tight, but he was also an Olympic mogul skier. Mogul skiing is like, when they go up and down them little hills and in between the flags. And he was trying to raise money for his Olympic dreams. And the NCAA told him he had to pick. He had either do the Olympics or give up or do scholarship football. He couldn't do both. He couldn't raise money for the Olympics, is what it was. And I was like, that's a load of crap. That was a load of crap. So, and after that, I got so sour on the NCAA. And that, among other things. But yeah, I've been watching Colorado. And just the whole story with Deion and what they're doing. That Travis Hunter, he got hurt. I watched that game. And I was very curious that NCAA has not said anything to Henry Blackburn, the kid from Colorado State that cheap shot him. That was not a late hit. That was not a spearing. At worst, or at best, I should say, that should have been an unsportsmanlike conduct with a threat to expel him from the game. Because when you get an unsportsmanlike, if you get a second one, they kick you out of the game. He should at least have had that. That wasn't a late hit. That was a cheap shot. The ball couldn't have been caught. The ball had hit the ground, and both players had already taken 2 more extra steps. And he came over there and leaned into him to give him the shove in the ribs and probably probably got a partial tear in his ribs. They haven't said anything, but whenever if you're running back or a receiver and you take that shot in your ribs when you go in full speed one way, yeah, you just barbecue sauce all of them things over there because it hurts. And ribs are one thing that is very, very difficult to heal up unless you do nothing. Because every time he gets up, every time he puts his shoes on, every time he brushes his teeth, sits on the toilet, pours a bowl of cereal, gets a drink of water, he's going to feel it in his ribs. That's basically your core. So every move you make, you're going to feel it. So healing that during the season is very difficult and very painful. And that's where people get shot up and cream and all of that kind of stuff. Um, that's bad business right there. That kid should have been kicked out. So the NCAA is going to take heat for this one because here's how I look at it: what would have happened if the situation was reversed? What would have happened if Shiloh Sanders would have took a cheap shot at one of the Colorado State receivers? They'd have probably kicked him out of the game, and you'd have saw some type of repercussion for that action. And the fact that they didn't do anything to the kid, and now of course the kids get death threats and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, you had a chance to handle it in the game, and you didn't handle it. If you take a cheap shot in the game, and the person that you hit gets hurt, you should be out of the game too. Unless if that player comes back in, you should be able to come back in.
I've been watching Deion since he was at Jackson State. It used to be hard to watch the Jackson State games. It was really hard to find them, but I watched most of them. But with the whole situation, him being a star like that and playing both sides of the ball like really well, it was a tough loss for them. And like you said, with the whole situation, they should have handled that immediately. I mean, I've seen games where people barely hit people and they get kicked out of the game for stuff like that. So, and it was a real heated game before it started. It was a lot of commotion before the game, throughout the whole game. There was a lot of ticky-tack fouls and people, pulling each other after the play, arguing, throughout after the whistle was blown. So I think they just put too much hype on it, and those guys, they got, kind of aggressive. And he wanted to show you know what I mean, and now the situation done blown out of control now with, like how you were saying, with the death threats, and there's a lot of guys that are really upset about the whole situation, especially a lot of NFL fans and players. So.
Absolutely, because they were talking about it on the Skip Bayless show, but the problem is, number one, that's a rivalry game, so it's going to be chippy. Number two, Deion Sanders, he talks. Y'all already know what his MO is, and then the coach fired back and said what he said. I ain't mad at him for saying that. But my problem is, during the game, I don't care if it's a lot of talk or if it's rivals or not. Officials are still expected to do their job. So when you targeting a team's quarterback, and it's quite clear that, is roughing the passer, and the kid tries to drive Shador into the grass and put all his weight on him. All of that stuff that they say they're trying to take out of the game, they let happen. And if they let it happen, they doing it because it's Deion Sanders. Either you don't like him or whatever the case was, because you wouldn't have done that to Caleb Williams. If it was USC, it wouldn't have happened like that. So I don't care what they do. What's good for one should be good for the other. So if you're going to call ticky-tack fouls, just be consistent with it. Call ticky-tack fouls all game.
Thanks.
You can't. There's no way you can prevent teams like that from not talking to each other and not chirping and going back and forth. You can't do it. But the problem was that was a clear cheap shot. That wasn't a late hit. That wasn't targeting. That was just a plain cheap shot that doesn't belong in football. And if they don't discipline this kid in some way, shape, or form, to me, that lets me know where your head's at. That means that was purposeful. You already know the kid was purposeful. It was a cheap shot. But that means the refs are letting that stuff go. and they shouldn't be. That's a bigger problem to me because now you're not playing fair. So Deion handles it good, with his press conference and stuff like that. But now they done create another problem because now this kid is, like I said, getting the death threats and all the stupid stuff. And now what I don't want to happen is I don't want him to make this kid a victim because that's what it'll end up being. It'll make it. They'll flip it. The media will flip it to make it look like Colorado fans are sending death threats his way. And it's, now he's the victim and he's the good guy now. And it's like, nah, you shouldn't have took that cheap shot or you wouldn't have been in this situation. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with him.
Yeah, I hope the situation gets handled, man. I was watching the game when it happened, man. I was like, man, this is, like this could impact his future. You know what I mean? Like his opportunity for this year, and just like how you were saying, the healing process.
Yeah.
Anytime he does something, so.
But I think now his future is cemented. At worst, he'll miss 3 or 4 games. He won't be a Heisman candidate, but he'll still be a first-round pick because he'll still go to the combine, run a 4.3, and he still did what he did at Jackson State and at Colorado. And you can't tell me he wasn't kicking ass and taking names back there. So I think he's a better defender than he is a receiver because he's done dropped some balls that hit him dead in his hands. But the kid can play anywhere. So as long as he makes it to the end of the year healthy, he'll be fine. And this might have been a blessing in disguise because the question is who's going to replace him on the defense? They got other receivers that are really good. Who's going to replace him on the defense? Because that's where they need him the most. So somebody's got to step up. So, and I think Deion might take his first L against Oregon. Because Oregon got a good quarterback, and they ain't no joke. But Shedeur Sanders been standing in there and delivering the ball on the money. And he surprised a lot of people with that because nobody realized he had that much accuracy. So
I like that he's been staying in the pocket, man. Like his first year at Jackson State, he would run every once in a while, but he wasn't like. I mean, he would stay in the pocket, but not like how he's doing right now. Like it's a big difference from Jackson State games that I watched, where he would try to make that play and run 25 yards, score the touchdown and stuff like that. Well, so I'm just, he's really doing that NFL progression. You know what I mean? Like showcasing himself as a actual quarterback,
stepping up in the pocket and delivering the ball. And that's what, when you work out with Tom Brady, you can learn something. But I think Deion addressed that because I remember him talking about like when he was at Jackson, he didn't have big enough offensive linemen to really do what he wanted to do. So they got to run a little bit, and it made sense what he was saying because he was like, I don't have the horses to be able to compete like that. So you got to do what you got to do. But now, you got a bigger school, you got bigger players, that sort of thing. So he's in a better situation.
They definitely gonna face some tougher opponents here coming up, like you said, with Oregon and then USC.
Absolutely.
I think they're gonna have to score a lot of points, man. Like they're not gonna be able to let the defense stay out there too long. They you know what I mean? Like they're gonna have to put points on the board.
Yep.
And really those edge guys and the interior guys are gonna have to really have one of their best games of the season. So. The linebackers are playing pretty well too, and their D line is doing pretty good, man. I'm surprised by how well they're doing.
They're doing better than expected because that first game, their defense was god awful. They couldn't tackle a thing, and I thought if they ever come up against a running team with a good offensive line, they're gonna get crushed. But they've been holding their own, so they must have known that and worked on it. So we'll see because Oregon's going to be a real test. But
is it is it at Oregon or? It might be because well, let's see, they were at TCU, they're at Colorado. Yeah, they might be at Oregon. If they're man, if I'm around, man, I might have to go to that game because I actually went. My nephew, he was in the Junior Olympics about a month ago.
Yeah,
So I
it's
went
at
and
Oregon.
stopped over there. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna have to if I'm over there, man, I'm gonna have to stop by. I'm gonna try to get a ticket to the game.
Yep. 3:30 game. 19, and they ranked 19, and Oregon ranked number 10.
Yeah, I might have to go to that game. Shoot, I might have to give me some. I don't know where I'm gonna get some Colorado stuff in in Oregon, but I'll have to find me a little hat or something just to rock it. I don't know if I can find something. I'll go out there and root for them.
Yeah, it'd be plenty of people. There'd be plenty of swag out there.
Oh, they got tons of Oregon stuff all around there, man. I've been to all the stores over there and been to their fan store and the malls and actually my cousins played for University of Oregon,
Okay.
Tyrell and Tyree Robinson.
That's what's up.
Yeah, so
That is what's up.
guys,
Well, listen, man, I think I'm about to shut this down. We had a good hour rolling live. I got to finish
well, I
packing.
appreciate you.
And
Well, I appreciate you, Marcus, man. You know,
yeah, man.
keep it 100, keep it 1,000, wow, man. Hey, every day, man.
I appreciate that, man. I'm gonna keep coming. I'm gonna keep trying to build this West Coast audience.
Hey, we're gonna get it, man. We're gonna get it.
So, all right, man. I appreciate you jumping on. I'm about to get out of here. So
Many blessings,
you.
Marcus, man. You have
You
a good
too.
day, man. Good
Back
night,
at
man.
you.
Thank you.
So that was cool, man. But thanks for joining me as usual. Hit that subscribe. Click on that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And I'll be coming back to you later on during the week, just covering more stuff, NFL stuff. I'm gonna be traveling, but I still should have an opportunity to post some new content, and we'll keep it moving. So look forward to this weekend where the Eagles are playing down in Tampa Bay. We got to get a win, and I need that offense to look good. Sherry, thank you for coming and joining in. Next time, bring a friend. But I appreciate you. I appreciate the chat as usual. Y'all be safe out there, and I will see you guys in the next play. Peace.